What if I told you real life events can actually make a show you're watching hit much deeper? Well, that's what happened to me. I was scrolling through TikTok as one does, and I seen a clip from the recent Streamer University. For those who don't know, Streamer University is an event famous streamer Kai Cenat holds for streamers to grow and learn.
Not on that. Oh, no. You stink. You smell like shit now.
A streamer by the name of Blackboy Max, who people like to associate with being gay because he has a feminine way of expressing himself, got scolded by another streamer, OJ Suave, who was a longtime friend of Max. He insulted Max for his diva tattoo and other various things, calling him a demon and saying he negatively impacts his future kid by him exposing quote-unquote gay culture to them early on.
That is an abomination, Max. I am not proud of you. I am proud of everything else you did.
Also stating he sold his soul, which Max then walked away and had a heart-to-heart with his chat about a topic I think is very important for the youth and everyone to hear.
Like, I don't give a fuck, bro. I might be a little weird, bro. I might tap some shit. Niggas get cold, bro. Think I'm gay. I don't give a fuck. What's wrong with being gay? There's nothing wrong with that shit, bro. Y'all niggas are whack. You're corny. And you just think how the next nigga think. You don't have your own mind, bro. That shit whack. But I'm gonna be myself, regardless. None of y'all niggas fucking with me. I don't care. You might think that shit because you're closed-minded, but it's one love, bro. It's one love. It's one love, bro. It don't matter. Niggas gay, it don't matter. They straight. It don't matter, bro. Why don't we just love each other, bro? I love y'all, but remember this always. Always be yourself. Fuck what they say. I don't care, nigga. I'm gonna wear my wigs. I don't give a fuck. I got diva tattoo. I'm gonna keep it forever. This is who I am, nigga. Thief, I'm fly. I'm on my own shit. That's me. So always be yourself. Embrace what make you different, because that's what's gonna make you pop.
All this inspired me to make this video. This is why it's okay to be unapologetically yourself and how anime has shown various times how being yourself isn't a crime. And honestly, you shouldn't even care what people think. One of the best things about anime is that underneath all the crazy fights, superpowers, and larger-than-life events, there is usually a much simpler story being told. A story about identity, and about figuring out who you are, and learning that you don't have to become someone else just to be accepted. And I think Mob Psycho 100 might be one of the best examples of this, because at its core, Mob Psycho isn't really about psychic powers, it's about a kid trying to figure out who he is. Mob is incredibly powerful. He can defeat enemies that most people wouldn't even stand a chance against, but despite all that power, Mob doesn't think it makes him special. In fact, he spends most of life trying to separate himself from his abilities. He doesn't want people to like him because he's powerful, he wants to be liked for who he is. And that's what makes Mob's story so relatable, because most of us aren't walking around with psychic powers, but we do spend a lot of time worrying about what makes us different. We compare ourselves to other people, we wonder if we're confident enough, interesting enough, or successful enough, and sometimes we start believing that we need to become someone else before people will accept us. But Mob slowly learns that he doesn't need to do that. His powers don't define him, his awkwardness doesn't define him, even his insecurities don't define him, and they don't define you. What defines Mob is the person he chooses to become, and that also works with you as well. And that's something we see in other anime characters too. Take Teru. When we first meet him, he's almost the complete opposite of Mob. He's confident, popular, and completely convinced that he's better than everyone else. But after Mob defeats him, Teru's entire worldview starts to fall apart. And what's interesting is that Teru doesn't have to stop being Teru to grow. He doesn't lose his confidence, he doesn't become slowly quiet, he simply learns he doesn't need to be better than anyone else to be proud of himself. That's the difference between arrogance and confidence. Arrogance says, I'm better than you, while confidence is, I'm comfortable being me. And everyone should be comfortable in their own shell. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons Mob Psycho tries to teach. You don't have to change your personality just because someone doesn't like it. You don't need to hide the things you're passionate about just because people consider it weird. You don't need to become a completely different person just to fit in. You can still grow and you can still improve, but you don't have to lose yourself in the process. That's also why characters like Naruto and Luffy resonate with so many people. Naruto spends his childhood being rejected because he's different. Luffy doesn't care about living the life everyone expects him to live. And Mob spends the entire series learning that being different isn't something he needs to be ashamed of. They're all different characters, but they're all learning the same lesson. You don't have to become someone else to be worthy of being yourself. And that's something we can all take away from this anime, from anime in general. Because in real life, it's so easy to compare yourself to everyone around you. You see someone who's more confident and wish you were like them. You see someone who's more successful and wonder why you're falling behind. You see someone who seems to have everything figured out and suddenly you start questioning yourself. But the characters we remember aren't memorable because they were exactly like everyone else. They're memorable because they weren't. Mob is Mob, Teru is Teru, Naruto is Naruto, and Luffy is Luffy, and that's the point. You don't need to be the strongest or the coolest, and you don't need everyone to like you. You just need to be comfortable enough with yourself to stop living your life for everyone else's approval. You only live once, and because the goal isn't to become someone that everyone else will love, the goal is to become someone you can be proud of. And maybe that's why Mob Psycho 100 hits so differently, because Mob's greatest achievement is becoming the strongest psychic. It's realizing he never needed his powers to become someone worth being. And maybe we don't either. So just be yourself, be weird, be passionate, be different, keep growing, keep improving, and become the best version of yourself you can. But don't forget who you're doing it for, because at the end of the day, the person who spends the most time, the person who you spend your entire life with and that you look at everything with you look through the mirror with, you watch, you play video games with, you look yourself with, you go to the movies with, you speak with other people with, the person you spend most of your time with will always be you. Peace.
Things like this ain't built to last. I might just fade like those before me.